OK, at 8:51, let's have a quick skip through the front pages this morning. Start with the Telegraph. Leads on the UK and US joining forces against the Houthi rebels in Yemen.
And Britain and US unite, says the Daily Express.
The Times also has Western allies and the strikes on Yemen.
And the Daily Mail leads with the post office scandal at the top there. Grit your teeth and keep prosecuting.
And, oh, sorry, I'm so proud of you, says the Mirror, leading on Prince William's tribute to rugby heroes Rob Burrow and Kevin Sinfield.
Yeah, he turned up and gave them their CBEs. Brilliant.
Oh, nice too. Should we go through, well, I was going to say go through the papers. Let's talk about what is actually going on today with broadcaster Pete Price and author and journalist Susan Holder. What's your feeling, Susan, about what is going on with these strikes overnight? A lot of people getting in touch saying, are we heading towards war? Well, we're told sort of no, really.
Yes.
Limited strike.
Yes, and I think it's wrong as a viewer or as myself here watching what's going on today and listening to all the experts. As non-experts, I think you can very easily get swept away. And it occurred to me while I've been watching all your coverage this morning that particularly children have a very kind of difficult... It's very difficult to handle what children might be asking and how you deal with that if you're a parent. And some of the things... So I've looked up some of the things that they say of how you should kind of address certain issues. So obviously it's been going on a long time, the whole war in Gaza and Israel and everything else. There's been lots of questions and everything. And some of the tips that I've been looking up, which I think are meant to be for children, but it really work for everybody else as well, is obviously... Talk about it, don't just ignore it and brush it under the carpet. Inform yourself and children. So it's good to look at things, but maybe don't overwhelm yourself with too much. Spread compassion, not bullying. So try and get them to understand how difficult it is for people, rather than worrying about how it affects them, maybe. So you kind of look at it from another point of view. And then, particularly in children's case, if they really are kind of overly focusing on it, perhaps give them a little task to do. So write a poem or make a poster, but even more, maybe kind of try and focus on the positive stories, if you can find any, of how people help each other. And if they then can want to give things to charity, for a charity that supports the area, there are things like that that can pull the focus away for children.
Interesting you say that, because we went through all this with the children in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Where they had terrible problems. So children, I think, are becoming more worldly in a way, sadly. I've got to congratulate GBNEWS today. I think it's great that we dropped all the other stories, because this is so important, because I really do think that we're talking about maybe another world war if we're not careful. No, if we're not careful.
I'll tell you what is interesting. The number of people, we've had quite a few saying, well, what's this got to do with us? You know, in the Red Sea. But it's of UK vital interest.
Absolutely.
Well, it's vital interest to a lot of countries.
But it's all the things that's surrounding it as well, Stephen. I mean, Putin must be, because Putin wants world chaos, because the man's mad. The man doesn't know what the world's about, and he wants that. So he's going to love that. We're stretching our troops, we're stretching our money, and Putin will be aware of that. Iran will be aware of that. I mean, what is going on is really frightening. But then we're forgetting what's happening in Gaza and the most dreadful destruction of children and people who have done nothing wrong. So it's a mess, but it's a frightening mess.
Well, it is. And interestingly, when we look at the Gaza situation, Susan, I mean, it's still... I mean, there's this international court case thing going on at the moment. But it's this... Again, it's unhelpful, isn't it? Say, well, Israel's trying to commit genocide.
Yes, I think it is unhelpful. I think it's very easy to stand on the sidelines and use words like genocide, when actually, of course, what happened to kick everything off on this round in itself was just unprecedented. So yeah, it's unhelpful. But and yeah, for people here, they are affected in many ways, of course, even if they don't know it. Like you said before about forces, families, you might have people who are out there or who might have to go out there. People have families and relations all over the world, and there will be people there who have loved ones out there affected as well.
You said it was unhelpful, Stephen, and you're so right. Why didn't we learn from Ukraine when we're blaming Putin and doing exactly the same?
Very good points made by both of you. Susan, Pete, thank you. We're back in a moment.